supply chain cost management is an imperative task that more and more companies strive to master. However, succeeding in this complex area often eludes many organizations due to a lack of sustained strategy and execution. The following narrative explores 7 mini case studies of companies that have managed to reduce supply chain costs successfully. 1. Deere and Company. Deere and Company, famously known as John Deere, is a leader in manufacturing machinery for agriculture, construction, and forestry. In 2014, it was ranked 80th in the Fortune 500 America list and 307th in the Fortune Global 500 list in 2013. Challenges: with a vast range of products including heavy consumer machinery, Deere and Company faces a highly seasonal retail activity. The significant sales occur from March to July, which affected efficient inventory management. Previously, the company replenished dealer inventory weekly, leveraging direct shipment and utilizing cross-docking from source warehouses near manufacturing facilities, which was both costly and slow. Solution: Deere and Company launched a strategic initiative aiming at a 10% reduction in supply chain costs. The approach involved redesigning the supply chain network by introducing intermediate merge centers and optimizing the location of cross-dock terminals. Results: as a result, Deere and Company consolidated shipments, utilized breakbulk terminals during peak seasons, and increased collaboration with third-party logistics providers. This network optimization led to a decrease in inventory by $1 billion, reduced customer delivery times from 10 days to 5 days or less, and transportation cost savings of around 5%. These steps taken by Deere and Company demonstrate that careful network design, smart shipment consolidation, and third-party collaboration can lead to substantial cost savings. This case study embodies how deliberate strategic actions can yield sustainable supply chain cost management results over time. Intel, one of the industry giants in computer chip manufacturing, faced a significant challenge when they introduced their low-cost Atom chip to the market. Traditionally, supply chain costs of $5.50 per chip were acceptable for units selling at $100, but the Atom, priced at just $20, demanded a drastic reduction in these expenses. The conundrum lay in cutting the supply chain costs while maintaining the chip's functionality. There was no room for service trade-offs. Each Atom chip was a standalone component, eliminating the possibility of reducing duty payments. The minimalistic packaging had already been optimized, and given the chip's high value-to-weight ratio, further reductions in distribution costs seemed implausible. Ultimately, Intel identified an opportunity for cost reduction by lowering inventory levels, previously kept high to support a 9-week order cycle. This necessitated reducing cycle times as a means to trimming supply chain costs. Intel embarked on an ambitious path to cost reduction, adopting a make-to-order approach, once considered audacious in the semiconductor sector. They initiated a pilot operation in Malaysia, diligently iterating through processes to uncover and eliminate inefficiencies, gradually shortening the order cycle time. Key improvement initiatives featured reducing the chip assembly test window from a 5-day schedule to a biweekly, 2-day procedure, implementing a formal sales and operations planning (SNOP) process, transitioning to a vendor-managed inventory model where feasible. The results were remarkable. Intel successfully shortened the order cycle time for the Atom chip from 9 weeks to merely 2 weeks. This substantial optimization resulted in a supply chain cost reduction of more than $4 per unit for the Atom chip, a significant improvement from the initial $5.50, significantly easing the financial burden of producing a $20 chip. This narrative underscores the significance of strategic supply chain management and the benefits it can yield when bold, yet calculated, steps are taken to streamline operations and cut costs without compromising quality. Avaya, once a leader in business collaboration and communications technology, faced a daunting challenge. The company, through a series of rapid corporate acquisitions, found itself with a supply chain operation that was far from best in class. In fact, it was riddled with issues such as an elongated cash-to-cash cycle, imbalanced supplier terms, surplus inventory, and outdated, manual processes. The challenge to cut costs became particularly evident after Avaya's acquisition of Nortel Enterprise Solutions in 2009. The merger left the company with a precarious grip on a fragmented and inefficient supply chain. The problem lay not only in the excessive and redundant processes but also in the myriad IT solutions that failed to provide a comprehensive view of the supply chain necessary for analytical strategy. Faced with this scenario, Avaya's senior management acknowledged that many of these issues stemmed from their varied and unsuitable technological solutions. The continuous acquisitions had reshaped Avaya's corporate structure, necessitating not a patchwork fix of multiple systems, but a singular solution that could unify and streamline operations. In pursuit of this solution, Avaya turned to the then nascent technology of cloud computing. The company boldly ventured into consolidating its processes onto one cohesive platform, aimed at automating non-value tasks and integrating vital components crucial for active supply chain management. Key elements of this transformation included point-of-sale analysis, procurement analysis, supplier communication, supply and demand planning, inventory planning, logistics planning. Nevertheless, technology alone was not sufficient for success. Avaya committed to a long-term strategic program that emphasized the standardization of processes, fostered a transformative culture shift, recruited top talent, and implemented rigorous benchmarking and KPI tracking systems. The fruits of Avaya's painstaking journey to cost efficiency began to materialize between 2010 and 2014. By deliberately steering the enterprise towards novel approaches of thinking, overhauling business culture, and harmonizing technology under a unified platform, Avaya remarkably enhanced inventory turns by over 200%, diminished the capital locked in stocks by 94%, and halved its entire supply chain expenditures. Terex Corporation, nestled in Westport, Connecticut, stands as a significant player in the aerial working platform manufacturing sector, though not often in the limelight. Many businesses accustomed to renting scissor lifts or similar equipment may unknowingly have their equipment supplied by Terex, emanating from its bustling transfer center in North Bend, Washington. The North Bend facility teams with lifting apparatus, crafted to order and tailored to meet specific customer preferences. Despite its operational prowess, Terex's reliance on a manual system for yard management posed an unexpected hurdle, driving up costs in what should have been a straightforward task of pinpointing and prepping units for dispatch. The supply chain cost reduction challenge emerged as Terex's low-tech approach, a wallboard and sticker system, became a time-consuming obstacle. Though inexpensive, it cost employees approximately 6 minutes each time they ventured into the yard to identify a unit. Monthly physical inventories also gobbled up hours, all necessary for syncing with the company's ERP platform. In a bid to streamline, Terex embarked on a path to cost reduction, weaving digital advancements into its operational tapestry. The company opted for a yard management software, YMS, solution, laced with RFID tracking, to supplant the archaic manual practices. Initially rolled out as a pilot in a fraction of the yard, its triumph led to full-scale integration, replacing the obsolete sticker and wallboard system with electronic tracking and digital inventory oversight. By December 2017, plans were in place to merge the YMS with the ERP platform, unlocking further functionality. Supply chain cost management results soon reflected the fruits of innovation. Although automatic inventory synchronization with the ERP remained elusive, daily inventory counts provided by the YMS's business intelligence module were invaluable, curtailing labor expenses that manual counts once demanded. The pivotal advantage, however, lay in the RFID-based identification and location system. It transformed the unit identification process, slashing it from a cumbersome 6 minutes to a nimble 30 seconds per unit, translating into a staggering savings of around 70 weeks in annual labor costs, a testament to the power of strategic technological integration. AGCO, a leading force in the agricultural machinery industry alongside Deere and Company, had grown significantly over 2 decades, primarily through acquisitions. This expansion, as frequently observed in such scenarios, led to increased complexity within its supply chain, accompanied by rising costs that were left largely unaddressed. The decentralized and fragmented global network of AGCO contributed to these challenges. By 2012, AGCO executives acknowledged the untenable nature of the existing situation and embarked on a long-term program aimed at strategic optimization of its supply chain. Managing under 5 separate brands, AGCO's expansive product portfolio necessitated a robust supply chain. When planning for optimization commenced, sourcing and inbound logistics were managed by disparate teams across various countries, each exhibiting different levels of supply chain management maturity and employing diverse tools and systems. This fragmentation resulted in inadequate transparency, with inbound logistics and transport management being siloed divisions. The lack of transparency hindered the enterprise from harvesting synergies and economies of scale, critical factors in any efficient supply chain. These issues were compounded by the inherent volatility and seasonality of the agricultural market. In pursuit of cost reduction and efficiency, AGCO conducted a SCORE, Supply Chain Operations Reference, benchmarking exercise. The outcome led AGCO to integrate new technology, a globally integrated transport management system, TMS, alongside establishing a partnership with a competent third-party logistics, 3PL, provider. While the North and South American divisions had already started utilizing a recent TMS implementation, the decision was made to apply this blended approach initially in Europe, with plans to extend it to other regions, contingent on success. With technology and partnership solidified, AGCO introduced a logistics control tower in Europe. This control tower harmonized and coordinated every daily inbound supply activity, from carrier freight rate negotiations, scheduling inbound shipments, optimization of transport plans to self-billing for carrier payments. The implementation of the European logistics solution yielded notable results within 18 months. AGCO achieved an 18% reduction in freight costs and has consistently saved between 3 to 5% on freight expenses yearly since then. Starbucks, a name synonymous with coffee culture, faced significant supply chain challenges in 2007 and 2008, threatening its ability to service 16,700 outlets globally. The coffee giant's leadership was grappling with falling sales amidst rising supply chain costs, which had surged by over $75 million. This period of turbulence was marked by severe doubts regarding the robustness of its supply chain. Investigations conducted by Starbucks' supply chain executive team highlighted several inefficiencies. Fewer than 50% of deliveries to outlets were arriving on time. Poor outsourcing decisions had compounded the problem, leading to excessive third-party logistics expenses. Moreover, the supply chain itself had evolved rather than been meticulously designed, resulting in an unnecessarily complex network. In response to these issues, Starbucks leadership outlined 3 core objectives to streamline operations and foster supply chain cost reduction. The first objective was the reorganization of the supply chain. The second was a reduction in the cost to serve, and the third laid the groundwork for enhancing future supply chain capabilities. To fulfill these goals, Starbucks segmented its supply chain functions into 3 pivotal groups: plan, make, and deliver. This strategic compartmentalization facilitated more focused management of operations. Starbucks also expanded its production capabilities by opening a new facility, bringing the total number of U.S. plants to 4. A critical step in bolstering supply chain efficiency involved terminating partnerships with underperforming third-party logistics providers. The remaining partners were managed through a stringent weekly scorecard system, designed to ensure alignment with new service level agreements. The transformation was notably successful. Starbucks, through its strategic overhaul of supply chain management processes by 2009 and 2010, achieved significant savings exceeding $500 million. In the bustling world of agricultural production, Sunsweet growers, a titan in the dried fruit industry, faced an intricate puzzle over a decade ago. The challenge emerged not from the sprawling fields or the busy distribution centers, but rather from within the walls of their own production sites and decision-making phrases. Despite managing their distribution operations with apparent finesse, Sunsweet observed that the production costs were ambitiously inflating the expenditure of their whole supply chain. It wasn't merely a question of moving goods efficiently but producing them aptly in the first place. Initially, leadership suspected the distribution network as the culprit and initiated a review. In pursuing a sleeker network to potentially stymie these costs, it became clear this was a mere fragment of a larger problem. The methodology behind their demand forecasting was antiquated, relying solely on spreadsheets and manual entry, creating a domino effect that made production planning dubious at best. These outdated practices hindered precision in forecasting, creating a chain reaction that not only burdened Sunsweet with excessive warehousing demands but also inflated production costs dramatically. Determined to transform this overhead into opportunity, Sunsweet turned towards technology as their savior. A comprehensive evaluation spanning over 30 software solutions was undertaken. The chosen suite of supply chain planning software marked the beginning of a phased approach to efficiency. Implementing it in stages allowed corporate oversight and realization of ROI in increments, across 5 distinct phases. Simultaneously, a robust sales and operations planning (SNOP) program was adopted, predicting plant resource needs months in advance. As each phase of the technological rollout progressed, positivity soared, reaching a remarkable 100% ROI even before completing the full cycle. The transformation wasn't an internal secret, the results were tangible and speaking volumes. Sunsweet heralded a 15 to 20% increase in forecasting accuracy, which had an immediate ripple effect. Challenges and employing innovative solutions to enhance efficiency and customer satisfaction. Deere and Company, a leader in the agricultural equipment sector, encountered inefficiencies in its dealer replenishment process. This led to inflated inventory costs and the threat of stockouts. Traditional methods failed to predict demand accurately or expedite product distribution effectively. To combat this, Deere and Company reimagined its supply chain network, establishing merge centers and optimizing crossdocks to streamline operations. By centering shipments and facilitating rapid transfers, they reduced costs and improved delivery times. Additionally, reliance on third-party logistics providers allowed for scalable, efficient management of transportation and warehousing. Meanwhile, Intel faced a different yet related challenge with its Atom chips. The low-margin nature of these products resulted in high supply chain costs under a traditional model. Intel's solution was to transition to a make-to-order model, aligning production closely with actual demand, thereby reducing inventory surplus. They also cut cycle times significantly and introduced a vendor-managed inventory program, better synchronizing with supplier operations. This was complemented by a robust sales and operations planning process to refine demand forecasting and inventory management. Starbucks, synonymous with rapid growth, found its supply chain strained under the weight of its expanding operations. Rising costs and delivery inefficiencies prompted a reorganization into 3 core functions: plan, make, and deliver. By centralizing these functions, Starbucks was able to enhance demand forecasting and inventory planning. Streamlined partnerships with third-party logistics providers and increased production capacity were key moves, enabling better service to its customers and cost reduction. AGCO, specializing in agricultural machinery, confronted a fragmented logistics network that hampered visibility and efficiency.